morning. Let's talk about self-sabotage because I've heard so many people lately jumping into the calls with me talking about how or mentioning how they have different self-sabotaging behaviors that are keeping them stuck, that are just keeping them moving forward to their goals, to their aspirations that they have. And I just want you to know that your whatever self-sabotaging behavior that we put a label on it is not a self-sabotaging behavior, in a sense that you're not deliberately sabotaging yourself. The way that you revert to either it's a doom scrolling or procrastination or overeating, overworking, not showing up as your full self, being overly perfectionistic, controlling every little detail in your life. There's a really good reason why you're doing this. Okay, and we're gonna dive into it in this live. I'm happy to come on here after my morning walk, so I'm all juiced up and I'm having my cup of raw cacao, which yes, I'm that girl now, drinking cacao in the mornings and doing yoga and having beach walks, and I'm loving it. And hi everybody, if you are catching me live first time around, then I'm Girly. I'm a certified somatic coach, trauma informed, and I am super passionate about getting people into their authentic, juicy selves, so that they can stop this self-sabotaging behavior and really live their life from their full body yes type of way. And I'm excited to share a little bit about how you can shift and turn those self-sabotaging behaviors around as well. Good morning, guys. Let me know where you're tuning in, because I know most of the world, as you're catching me live, you're probably either deep in the night or late in the evening. So let me know where you're tuning in. Whether you're catching me live first time around, you can just drop me one if it's your first time ever catching me live. North Carolina in the house. Houston, hi. Sydney, oh lovely. Australian folks in as well. Hi mate. Yeah, and if you have seen me before, then you can just drop me your favorite emoji. Let me see what kind of crowd I have here. Beautiful. I have a Kentucky, first time around catching me live. Texas, Penny is also first time around here. All right, I have so many first timers. I'm excited. Yep, it's almost 10 p.m. in New York City. All right, the topic in hand, which is self-sabotage. Oh, and let me just drop you in here the fact that if you're in case you have any questions, then use the little question mark button, so I can catch them. Let me pin that for you. Pin that comment. So otherwise, it can just like slip out of my reach. All right, self-sabotaging behavior. As I said, it's actually not there to sabotage you, right? You're not deliberately setting roadblocks onto your path. You're not deliberately bullying yourself. You're not trying to keep yourself from your goals and a better life, even though it feels like that, right? Like our sabotaging behaviors, and I use it in a very careful way, the term itself, it's there for a really good reason. And oftentimes the sabotaging behavior is actually self-protecting, protective behavior, because we have gone through a certain amount of life experiences, traumas, our upbringing, our childhood, all the different things, all the things in our past that we have gone through, whether we remember it or not, have created a certain narrative inside of us. And we have come up with certain beliefs about ourselves, certain beliefs about how safe the world is, certain beliefs about how safe we feel inside of our own body. And we have created all of these patterns to then feel more safe, if that makes sense. Because your brain, your beautiful brain, is not there to make sure that you thrive. Its only task is to make sure that you survive. And if it has found a way to make sure that you survive in the safest way possible that it knows how, then it keeps putting that pattern into action until we make a very conscious shift and decision of really viewing that pattern playing out, getting really honest about that this is what's currently present in my life. That is something that is my subconscious is still very much holding on to. And now, after I've had that awareness aha moment of like getting really honest and accepting that behavior is there, then I can take my power back and make a different type of decision. And so often what we want to do is we want to like navigate everything from this level, because okay, but I understand here, right? Like I do not want to doom scroll. I do not want to lose myself in just like binge watching. I do not want to maybe grab 10 packs of chips and just eat it in one go. Like I understand it from here. How can I shift that now? And then we try to set a certain amount of rules. We try to force ourselves through that thing of like, oh, I just need to be more strict with myself. I just like need to be more of that adult self. Not realizing that that part that is playing out is not the adult self of you. It's the frozen in time part from your past that doesn't really care and doesn't know what year it is. The only goal for that part is to feel safe, and is to feel somehow soothed. And so it's doing whatever it takes to have that need met. Okay? Let me know if it makes sense so far. Yeah. I mean, you have seen sharing that, you know, you come from different paths, right? Foster care, divorce, childhood, alcoholic mother, and you didn't know life without it. And that's the thing, like our nervous system gets attuned to that because that has been our reality. And it has needed to learn so many different tools how to stay safe within that environment. And so the more repetition we get in, the more embedded it becomes. It becomes as a second nature. But that doesn't mean that it is essentially who you are. You weren't born with that personality in that sense. Like you weren't born to like procrastinate for the rest of your life. You weren't born to react, outlash, have all of these different reactions, or like holding yourself back from where you're heading. Ali is also sharing that like 40 years of survival and adult trauma was the worst time for you. All right, healing for 3 years with trauma, hypnosis, and lost a year ago. I don't feel. So that's the main thing, that why we go up and move up into our heads, and why we use all of these different sabotaging behaviors, because it doesn't feel safe to really be authentically ourselves. There's something happening on the body level. There's some sort of pain, there's some sort of hurt, there's some sort of fear, and we don't have tools. At least we think we don't have tools to face that, because nobody has ever maybe taught us, nobody has ever modeled us how to, in a very healthy way, meet whatever is present in the body, and to complete the cycle of feeling it, releasing it, really letting it go, so allowing it to move through us. And we have that capacity, but because we have so many frozen in time pieces within ourselves and we aren't connected with them, then they still think that they are those young, vulnerable, tiny parts who don't just have the capacity to hold the full spectrum of those emotions. And what your body initially has done is that it has said, okay, cool, and at this time, when all of those experiences were happening, it was too much for your system. Perhaps you didn't have the right type of environment or the right type of support to really guide you through this experience. And guys, if you have questions, like drop them into the little question mark, then I can answer them and come back to them. Where was I? Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is that we have to go back and like really now teach those parts how to feel safe, how to manage and navigate those emotions in a healthy way, so that we don't feel so out of control that we don't need to grab a certain like either addictive behavior or different type of whatever behavior or the thing that is that we're reaching towards in order to like escape from the pain, right? Because it feels so much, it feels too much. And oftentimes when we reach towards whatever it is, alcohol, food, any substance, it is initially to get us out from the current reality, right? Because it feels so much. And actually the current reality is not that we're dealing with the past inside of the current reality. Oftentimes when we get triggered, it's not the current situation that gets us triggered, it's something that reminds us, we get reminded something that has happened in our past, right? I have so many good comments here. Uh, so really briefly, but how can we stop that cycle, right? As I said, the first step is the awareness, is to become aware that this is something that I'm doing because I'm trying to escape my current reality, the whatever feelings, whatever sensations that I have running through my body. I don't know how to do with that. I don't know how to deal with them, and so I'm finding ways to keep myself safe, right? That's initially what your self-sabotaging behavior is. It is you trying to keep and find safety within your system. And because it feels so overwhelming, and because it has felt so overwhelming, you really don't want to go into the chaos. And understandably so, you find every other tool that you can and that is there under your tool belt to not go in and face that, and to numb the pain, to escape the pain, to look the other way. But when we look the other way, it doesn't make the pain disappear. We just might temporarily forget that it's there. We might numb it out, but we don't really resolve the issue, right? And the more we keep on going, the more we're carrying that baggage with us. And the more we're tucking it away, the heavier it gets. And just because you have done a really good job in carrying all of that baggage for decades doesn't mean that it's not heavy, right? So you deserve, you first and foremost deserve to be released of that baggage, so you don't have to carry all that weight with you for all that time. Okay, so awareness is the first step. The second step is finding ways, tools, right type of environment, supportive system, somebody that can be there to witness you if that's needed, depending on how deep your trauma, how deep of those experiences and that emotional capacity of yours goes to go within. Right, so that can be in using different types of somatic practices, but not only, right? It really depends on the depth of what we're dealing with, because sometimes we can find a tool that really works, whether it's, meditation, breath work, yogas, all of those things are super beneficial, amazing tools. But if we're only using them to treat only the above surface type of grass, to cutting off the grass, whatever is bugging us, and we're not going deep enough to the root level, then we just keep needing to cut the grass all the time, right? Instead of going into the root, dealing with the root, and then the grass kind of takes the weed above the ground takes care of itself, which is kind of the trauma-informed way of approaching it. So we're not doing the top-down approach, but we're doing the bottom-up. So once we deal and resolve the root issue, the above ground things that are more visible for us typically will take care of themselves. So that self-sabotaging behavior, if it doesn't have a purpose anymore because you're dealing with the root level thing, it kind of dissipates, right? You're gonna find another way of relating to the world and showing up in the world. So you don't need to put all of your force and effort into, oh my god, I have to overcome that that controlling issue or stop procrastinating. It's no, let's go deeper than that. What is that behavior there for? What is it trying to achieve? What is it trying to protect you from, right? That's the power of the work. So first, awareness. Second is going into the body, learning the tools to really regulate, meet those emotions, understanding them, listening to them, and that for that we really want to have a safe space to do that, and we have to have a safe pace to do that, right? We don't want to force our bodies to open up, to heal faster than they are ready to do that. And the third one is just implementation. That's the inspired action. That's where you can really bring that knowledge and that wisdom into your everyday life and just keep on going and living your life the best way possible. So that's kind of just a very brief overview, and then the framework of how we can turn those self-sabotaging behaviors around. Let me know what I'm gonna now go over the questions. Okay, is it possible to have a sense of normality once into 50s? Feel on the brink of overall all the time? Absolutely. Your nervous system is so beautifully flexible and moldable. So there are ways to learn tools how to regulate yourself. And regulated nervous system doesn't mean that you are zen, calm, and an enlightened Buddha 24/7. Regulated nervous system means that you know how to surf the waves. You are becoming more responsive and not so reactive. You know how to deal with the lows as well as with the highs. So Absolutely, it's possible. There's no like what do you call it, like date of expiration, where you could, like, you cannot do this work anymore. Absolutely. I've worked with people in their 50s, and it is absolutely possible, more so. I would even say possible, necessary, welcomed, all of those things. Okay, I'm at the point in my trauma healing that I'm trying to figure out, how do I trust? Yeah, that is a really big thing, because a huge part of this healing journey is learning how to trust ourselves again, because it hasn't felt safe to be in the body, right? So we have lost that contact and lost that trust within ourselves. And trust is being built, right? It's not about like me showing up once, doing the work once and saying, hey, like, okay, inner parts, inner traumas, wounds, it's safe to be here. It really takes constant reassurance to those parts, showing up, being present, being patient, just like you would deal with, like all of those younger parts within yourself. That's what it takes. And trust is being built, and you can really truly trust somebody if you know them. So we really have to get to know ourselves, who we truly are, all of those parts, because all of those parts are us. And if we keep constantly turning the other way and not making an effort to get to know them, then that trust has a cap as well. Hope that makes sense. All right, Alice says that I have fears. I'm afraid to be seen, and I believe I went too fast through it. I never healed my nervous system and my inner child, all parts of it. I moved 900 miles away. Yeah, the inner child work is one of my favorite modalities to use with clients, because I feel that it gives us such a beautiful framework of how to navigate what's happening inside. It gives us like this map of like, okay, it's not just chaotic, random bunch of things, but there's actually a structure to what's happening. There's actually logic, even though emotions are not logical, but there is some sort of a logic inside of that chaos. And inner child healing gives us amazing tools to start to gain back that relationship with ourselves, and do it so in a loving way, in an accepting way, bringing compassion and patience into the mixture, because that is initially what our inner children need. So it's just a beautiful framework to use when healing those traumas, and knowing how to really in real time meet your needs, hear what those needs are, and and meet them in a healthy way. And once again, if we move too fast through it, which is typically comes from here, because our mind is like, okay, yeah, but I understand the concept, I understand that those 3 steps, I understand that this is what I need to do, I also understand that this is what happened, this is why that pattern plays out, this is my past trauma, okay, cool, I understand it now, why am I still not healed? That's typically what our minds wants to do. Like our minds wants to like move linearly and like to be done with that already. So it takes a really courageous act to stay present and really trust and learn to trust the pace of our body, because we can really move as fast as the slowest part within us is ready to do so. So that's the essence of this work. It's super simple in its core, and that doesn't mean that it's easy, but nevertheless the concept itself is really, really simple. We don't have to overcomplicate that. Yeah, dealing with childhood and abandonment as an adult sucks, and it seems to interrupt everything. Exactly, it's embedded into everything that we do. I even encourage you to see or invite you to see when two adults are having a disagreement or are fighting in whichever way, either professional or personal level. I guarantee there's always a part of them that is like from the past that is popping up. So those are those wounded inner children desperately wanting to be seen, accepted, respected, seen, witnessed, loved. And if those needs are not being met, and if there's a past or if there's an experience in the past that has been the reality, it will pop up. And the thing why we need to and want to have that connection with the body is because we typically, on our adult self, if we're calm and collected, we can for sure use our mindset, our healthy internal dialogue, our logic and rationality in order to navigate ourselves through these situations. But when the emotions come online, and the stronger they are, they literally cut us off from our prefrontal cortex, that is the rational side, and our back part of the brain becomes online. And that's why it's so hard to think ourselves through and out of our emotions, to think ourselves out from our emotion, like traumas, because they're not happening here. They're happening down here, and that's why this body of work is so deep and profound. All right, let me see the other questions. What do I have popping up here? Yeah, I've been dealing with that all my life. I can't imagine life without the pain or loss. That's typically what happens as well. Like, because it has been your reality for pretty much all of your life, it's like, okay, what else is possible? Who am I without that package? Who am I without that pain? Who am I without all of those wounds? And I can even, it's not so much about like we have to make the wounds disappear. We just want to make the wounds stop bleeding, to stop being hurt. You know, like the work is to allow the wounds to heal and allow those scars to happen. So the scar is still there, but you can accept that. It's part of your journey. It's part of your story, but it doesn't hurt. You know, it's not triggering. You don't have to hide it away. You don't have to like constantly take care of it. It just becomes a scar on the body of your story. I could either peacock in the background. Yeah, I have plenty of birds here, which, by the way, it's a really good for your nervous system to attune to bird song, because it really gives a deep sensation for your nervous system, that because birds typically would chirp only if they feel safe and if the surrounding is safe. So it gives also a signal for our nervous system. Fun fact. Linda is saying, thank you. I just encapsulated the past 2 years of pretty intense trauma hypnotherapy. I'm finally on the other side, and I'm excited. Thank you for recapping some vital life lessons. Thank you. I'm so blessed to hear that. I'm so excited and happy for you, Linda. This is a profound work that we get to do here. All right. Okay, I think the humans aren't for me because of their destructive, unpredictable, and cruel nature. What is the best way to deal with... okay, so there's 2 questions from the same person. And the other one is, what is the best way to deal with a poor sleeping environment and family that can get on the nerves? Okay, well, I invite you to see that as a story, because that has been, first of all, your experience, that humans are destructive, unpredictable, and cruel, right? And that is a very valid experience, and we can't deny that there are plenty of people walking on this earth that are destructive and are predictable and can be cruel. But all of it has come because they have also experienced at one point very probably tough experience, like tough traumas in their lives, got the message that they for some reason aren't valued, or have experienced cruelty on themselves, and then have taken that into them and then passing them on. That's why this line of work, dealing with the work and doing the work on our own, is so vital, because we can literally heal all the generations that came before us, and first, and even more so, we can heal and offer that medicine to the generations that are coming after us, because we are doing the work and we're stopping the line of cruelty and unpredictability and destructiveness, because that is all just a pure trauma response, and that there's better ways. So what to do with that is really to first off go and meet those wounds and offer them the medicine within yourself that they actually needed when they were experiencing unpredictability and destructiveness and cruelty, because that is, by any means, nobody deserves to experience that. But if it has happened, then there's really first steps of like, how can we accept that it happened, and how can we bring forgiveness to ourselves, and if it's accessible, also those that that did us wrong because they didn't know any better. And because we bring, I want you to say, because we have and we can bring understanding and empathy on the table, doesn't mean that what they did was right, and doesn't excuse their behavior. But it does allow us to loosen the grip, because initially, what if we keep carrying that within us? I know that you've heard that quote, is like drinking the poison and hoping that somebody who did us wrong will suffer for it, but actually who suffers is still us, because we are still continuing to carry that pain with us. So that's the profoundness of this work, and we don't even need to go and make amends or write letters or even like go and have these discussions. It can also be, it can really be something that we resolve inside of us, right? Forgiveness is always for us, and then from there finding peace and calmness within ourselves, offering the medicine, offering the presence and love that those parts within us need. And that's a very empowering awareness to adopt, to understand that actually I can offer this to myself. I can take the power back. I can make new decisions, and I can make sure that I am establishing healthy boundaries. I see that I value the goodness in people, and this is what I now allow to enter my sphere, and everything else I just bless and release, and make sure that they don't have space within my life. All right, you beautiful people, I'm gonna recap that now. In case you have any questions regarding, self-sabotaging behaviors, how to do this powerful line of work, how to heal your traumas, how to really be more connected to your emotions, and have that emotional, not only intelligence, but deep maturity, then I invite you to either drop a comment or send me a DM with a code word full body yes, and I'm excited to introduce you a somatic program that I'm running that introduces you all of that. Like it's really juicy, it's beautifully structured. It will guide you through 3 different modules, starting with that awareness part that I just mentioned, then going into that body connection part and doing that deep emotional work and healing work. And then the 3rd module is all about how to bring everything that you learned into your reality, how to start making action, how to establish healthy boundaries for yourself. So if you're interested in knowing more, then drop me a word full body yes, and I'm happy to fill you in. And if not, then I am still happy that you're here. I hope this little video was serving you, was of value for you. Keep an eye for more content. Let me know if you have any questions that you would like me to perhaps elaborate or answer. And I'm gonna wrap this up now. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon.